Imagine going to law school without money, not a dime in your pocket, not even a place to live. In 2001, I get an opportunity to go to law school, Massachusetts. So I thought, I'm just going to go. I'm going by faith. I get to Massachusetts. I don't have a place to live. I'm scared, but there is something inside of me that I keep pushing. Get there on Saturday. Saturday morning, I'm out in Boston, touring Boston, not looking for a place. And I'm thinking to myself, you're not looking for a place. By Sunday, I wake up in the morning, my sister and my brother leaves, and I still don't have a place. I've called several places, and no one has a room. I'm in a hotel. I cannot sustain to be staying in a hotel. Monday, school starts. By Sunday evening, I call a lady. She said, I have a place, but it's only ready for 2 weeks. No problem. No, 3 weeks, sorry. No problem. I said, that's okay. I'll take it. At least I'm there and I'm looking within the 3 weeks. That night, as I was leaving, the hotel desk called me and says, there was a call that came for you at the hotel, and here's the number. I called the guy back. He said, you called and left a message on my phone looking for a place. I said, yes. And he said, I have a place, but I'm renovating it and it's not going to be ready for 3 weeks. God is so good. I said, oh, wow, I'll take it. I go look at the place on Monday, 3-bedroom house. I love it. So I stay at the lady for 3 weeks. By 3 weeks, the house was ready for me to move in, and I stayed there. Now it came time for me to pay the tuition. There's no money. At that time, I'm not a citizen yet of the United States. So it was difficult for me to get money, but I still had faith. I still knew that God was doing something. I still knew I needed to be there, because at the age of 6, I told God, if you bless me to be a lawyer, I will help your people. And here it is, 20 some odd years later. He's working. He's honoring that covenant that I made with him. And so I go to the school on Monday. Where are your documents? Where's your money? Where's your check? There's no check. There's no check. There's no money. My hope was I was going to go and they were going to give me loans or perhaps some grants. But at that time, I wasn't a permanent resident and I didn't qualify for it. And so I gave her what I had, which was temporary protective status, work permit. And she took it and she did all of the applications. I went to classes as if I was supposed to be there. I didn't pay, but I went to classes. A week later, she called me back in her office and said, I don't know how it happened, but you have approval to have money, grants and loans to attend law school. And so I stayed in law school for 3.5 years, matriculated. I had enough money to pay my rent. I had enough money to pay for food. I had enough money to pay the tuition. God is so good. If you trust him, trusting in God, it's almost like taking your life and putting it into his hands, which he has, because he created you, right? And so I matriculated, graduated, and then it came time for me to work. Who do I go work for? I didn't want to stay in Massachusetts. So I said, okay, migrate to the DMV area. I came to the DMV area. It was a struggle. I couldn't work because I didn't have the means. My children were going to school. Where am I going to leave them? And so I began to catch what they call the bus to DC and do document review. Trust in God. But before that, let me back up. Before that, my husband and I had opened a law office in Massachusetts because we couldn't work for anyone. We had children. And we began to build the office, brick by brick, client by client, client by client. In fact, I was the secretary because we couldn't afford to hire a secretary. And then when I moved to the DMV, because we decided we were going to move to the DMV area, but he was still running the office in Massachusetts. At this time, it has grown a little bit, so it was sustaining us a little bit. And so I come to the DMV with 3 children. What do I do with them? He was not here with us. And I began to catch the bus to go to DC to do document review. Still trusting God, still trusting in him. There was no day that I worried what to eat. There was no day that I questioned him. I was moving in the direction of faith. Faith without works is dead. So I kept moving. And then I decided I will open a branch up here in Virginia. We got a place in Virginia. I opened up a branch. 1 client, 1 phone call. It began to build. It began to build. Today we have a thriving law office focusing on immigration. Because when I moved in this area, at first I was doing family law and criminal. But I remember telling God, if you make me a lawyer, I will help your people. And immigration is where you see the hand of God. And so I got pushed into immigration. I wasn't doing immigration. I started doing family law and criminal. But one day there was a client that called. His family goes to they rented a church for my dad. I'm also a preacher's kid. They called looking for a lawyer. At that time I didn't do immigration. I said, I don't do immigration. They said, but we still want you to help. They've been to 3 other lawyers. And they said that this guy has to be deported. I charged them the lowest I could charge because I didn't know this area of law. I drove all the way to York, Pennsylvania. And while I was in court, the judge says, well, I have to deport your client. I deny bond. And as I was walking out to go tell the client, because he was in detention in the court, the detention center is in the court, I saw an old lawyer that says to me, I see you struggling up there. Just tell the judge you're going to file for asylum for your client. You're going to have the application in 2 weeks. And then